Hello students. So welcome to the management case study for November 2023, that is the Cuppcar. And I think students, since this case study is more towards a car, we have to understand the following topics that is relevant. One, if I'm not mistaken, the IFRS 15, which is revenue contracts, is very, very important. And also students, there is one more standard called IFRS 16, which is lease, which is also very much essential when it comes to the technical areas, because these two standards are more correlated as well. And when coming to the P2 area, students, you just needs to be aware about the DPP, which is the direct product profitability. And also students, since this is a dealership, we can have the CGMA cost transformation process as well. And also students, just to make sure the things are very easy for you all to understand, we can also focus on other aspects. The other aspects, if I'm not mistaken, is students, the business models. Example, the definition of the value, the creation of the value, the delivering of the value, and the capturing residual value. So students, if I'm not mistaken, these are the areas that you have to keep in mind in order to make sure you perform well in the examination. And as usual, students, they have given the ideology of you have to write everything that is relevant to the case study only. Please don't write anything that is not relevant to the case study. Now, students, I have already done some other videos which I may upload. Now, if you observe when you are reading, students, you just read the introduction very well because it effectively gives the role. This is very, very important. And as usual, now you are a finance manager. Keep that in mind. Now you have effectively entered yourself into a finance manager position. That is, you are now promoted. And then we have the car dealership, that is the new car, the fleet leasing, the used car, the parts and services, finance, insurance, and the staff role. Now, students, the staff role you have to go through for sure because there can be a question on motivational issues because there are chances that there will be high situation on motivational issues as well that you have to keep in mind. And this new car sales, the fleet leasing, the used car, the parts and sale, the same thing you have to analyze very well because if you see our company Cuppcar is selling all these items within our service. These services are there, and in the exam day, students, there can be a situation where they may ask you a new service development. Now, example, students, a new service development can be online. Now, students, digitalization can take place online. Then we can have subscription model, if I'm not mistaken. Now, all these factors you can connect in order to score very well in the examination as well. So just keep those factors in your mind. Now, again, students, Cuppcar has the following: new car, used car, parts, finance and insurance, the board structure. And as usual, students, this business model you have to master because the first question, the question number one in the examination is always on the business model, students. So just make sure you are very much aware about this business model in order to score well in the examination. And the annual report and the Miltro Motors annual report is given. And I have already done a financial analysis, which I may upload, and the extracts from Joe Carr's sellers blog. Now, students, there is a section on big data analysis, if I'm not mistaken. Nowadays, big data analysis is one major reason that examiner is interested because in today's context, we need to make data-based decisions, and that is very, very important as well. Now, students, as I told you, the introduction, as I told you, there are 214 dealerships you have to keep in mind, students. And if I'm not mistaken, segmental analysis can come in the examination. So just remember segmental analysis, if I'm not mistaken, that is IFRS 8, because it's an accumulation, better to have an idea of these standards. A home country well, and so you have to understand the local ecosystem. Each dealership sells new and used car and related products and services. And Welland's currency is W dollars as usual. Welland company law requires companies to prepare their financial statements in accordance with IFRS. And so usual, question number 3 or question number 4 will effectively focus on IFRS. And you are the finance manager of Cuppcar's head office, and your primary responsibilities are associated with management accounting. You report to Powerit Chot Singh, the senior finance manager who reports directly to the finance director. Examination, there may be situation the directors are directly asking from you as well, because you may have more information with regards to managing your department. So that chances can also happen. Now, students, now this is the introduction. Just remember your finance manager role, everything is very much mentioned. Now, coming to the industry data. Now, students, they are given a lot of industry data. I'm not going to go in detail because I have done other videos also, which you can analyze in more detail. But understand it very well. This industry data you have to understand. The reason is Cuppcar provides all the services what is there in this industry. So, can I write down here? Cuppcar provides all the services that is mentioned, and we are one of the leading operator also, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to understand what are the threshold competence in order to make sure to do such service in a local arena. Now, students, coming forward, let's work on a step-by-step analysis so that it will give you a very high clarity also. Now, students, if you observe car dealership, are related and supported products to consumers. So that means we are an intermediary. Now I'll just write it down for you all so that it will be very clear. We have the manufacturer, and then students, what happens? We have the dealer in between, and the dealer connects it to the customers, that is the clients or the people in the market. So we are effectively an intermediary. And as I told you, students, digitalization is very strong. There are chances due to internet, manufacturer can directly connect to the customer. So just remember that directly connecting to the customer is also a possibility. So students, dealers can operate as single location based, or they can have multiple sites. Individual sites refers as dealership. Generally, each dealership operates significant amount of discretion. Now you see here, students, the flow area matters. The flow area matters because you see these are the used car, and inside the warehouse or inside the dealership you have the brand new car as well. And within the dealership itself you have the workshop where you can change the oil, repair the tire, anything you want. Now, students, new car dealerships are franchised by car manufacturers. That is, you can have exclusive outlet. Now, I think since you all have already read, there is something called Bata Motors that you have to keep in mind, because these organization, Bata Motors, like example like Toyota, okay, they only say that you have to sell only our car in our store. That is one thing you have to keep in mind. Franchises give dealership the right to sell the car made under their manufacturer brand. For example, Bata Motors is a popular car manufacturer that makes several models of car and sold under Bata brand name. Franchise dealership cannot sell any new car unless they were designated for a car manufacturer. A restriction does not apply for used car. New car dealership can sell used car from any manufacturer. Now students, I'll just write down here IAS 37. You may be aware there is a standard called provision. Now legal cases can come, students. Just keep in mind, legal cases can come in the examination. So I'll just write it down here so that you will understand. Now, one thing I told you, just make sure you are aware about IFRS 15, which is revenue contract. As you are aware, revenue contract is very, very important for your last moment learning. And then students, as I told you, IFRS 16, which is lease, is also very much important. And then students, we have IAS 37, that is the provision also, which is also very much important as well. So if you observe, students, these are the dealership stores. Now showroom. The showroom is an indoor space that can be used to display car and promotional materials. That is one thing. Staffs usually work at desk in the showroom and offices immediately. Now, as I told the students, that motivation factor can come, students, because they are front office staff. They need to be pleasant to the employees. So students, just remember there will be some idea. And also balance scorecard can come, students, that is for performance measurement, because these areas are effectively tested in the examination. Then you have the car locked information, how the cars are displayed, and the workshop data is also given. You can have an idea of that. Now students, the new car sales, that is, as I told you, it's from the original equipment manufacturer. Just remember this term, students. And another term is MRRP. Because original equipment manufacturer is the person who is manufacturing. Ford is an original equipment manufacturer. Toyota is an original equipment manufacturer. Nissan is an original equipment manufacturer. Remember that, students. So these are their sales target. Everything has been given. The geographical distances, all the facts are given. And one more thing, that margins, 2 to 3% for normal car and 10% margin you can keep for luxury car. So the biggest problem is it's a small margin. So students, since the margin is very small, the solution is what you have to increase the volume. Volume needs to be increased when the margin is very slow. Keep that in mind as well. So car manufacturers pay bonuses, sales target. Now students, this is one important thing. Even in the later videos you will observe, the company car manufacturers, they want only sales target on cars sold, because they are not bothered about whether your company is doing well. They want their units to be pushed to the market. So students, I'll write down here, their demand push. They want to sell out these things. They push it out to the company. And then most customers trade in their old car, and dealership can usually resell those at a profit as usual. Commissions are there, and there can be repair repairs also. And students, these are the other brands. Now remember one thing, our company has only Bata Motors and Limo Lux mentioned, but there are 30 popular brands. Now students, in exams, there may be situation a new brand can come. Now these are the brands in the precinct. There can be a new brand like Tesla can come in the exam. Electric vehicles, because now if you see, most of the vehicles we are effectively selling is petrol and diesel powered vehicles. So that can come, and here the price ranges are given. There will be question on pricing. So remember these data when you are applying, students. That is important. And fleet leasing, students, you can lease out the vehicles on operating lease. Used car also, you can sell it at a higher price because second-hand market value is there. And 4 years is the time period. Keep that in mind. And this is the information on how used cars are done. Trade purchase, trade in a new vehicle, trade in a used vehicle, and retail price. You can just go through this segmental data. Parts and services, students, what are the informations they do, what are they do in the workshop, cleaning, repair, all those things are there. Servicing, mechanical repair, body work. And finance and insurance is also given, how they effectively work, which is covered in the other lectures. And the staff roles. This is very, very important because these terms are important in order to connect the answers to the exam material. And coming down, the Cuppcar, our organization, they have given the history. It's formed through the Cup family. And now the family is not there because everything is quoted in the stock market. So we are effectively a listed organization now. So just remember that, students, there can be a question with regards to WACC. WACC means weighted average cost of capital. So they may ask you information related to KD, that is cost of debt, and KE, which is the cost of equity. So that is very, very important as well to be considered also. So students, they are giving the staff content for 25,000 staff, 214. Integrated reporting can come, students. There is an area called integrated reporting, which is highly preferred by the examiner in today's context because it's very much tested also. And just remember that for your idea. And the Cuppcar sales are given, how you have to present the customer care, the pricing, inventory availability, data analytics. And then the used car, again, the same thing is given. You will understand all those things in the other videos. It's just an overview. And the margins. This is very, very important, students. You see, the new car sales is 41%, but the new car only generate 20%, students. So used car and the service is like the major business sector that you have to focus on. But without new car sale, you can't get an establishment because customers need to experience your facilities at the end of the day. The structure is given, the business model. This is very, 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 very important, students. Without this, you can't pass because there will be a 25 marks question in the examination for sure. And coming down, students, the materials, the financial analysis, we will do it. And students, if I'm not mistaken, the electric cars. Now, internal combustion engine is petrol. So you have to understand how there can be changes to that. And then don't overpay for vehicles. Data analytics, dashboards are coming in the future. And then motoring column, the total cost when you specify your new car. The motoring column, don't forget about your car service regularly, the motoring column, and these are the pricing information on the second-hand market. So students, don't worry about the exam perspective, but this is the basic overview. and I will update everything in the upcoming videos. So thank you very much, students.